What do you think? Will the end of this war, nobody knows when this war will finish, but will the end of this war speed up Ukrainians' membership in the EU? Because our topic is the prospects of Ukraine in the EU. So,
well, look, I believe it will. I believe it will, because as I said already, and I was even trying to do some research before this interview to get a fix on how long does accession to the EU take, and there is no one figure for it. It varies from country to country. Now, very much like NATO, there isn't an absolute rule, because NATO is a military alliance. You can't join NATO if you're at war. And if Ukraine is going to be successful and secure going forward, we need to see Ukraine in NATO and in the EU.
But what is most important currently for Ukraine? To be a member of NATO or the member of EU?
I don't think it's either or. It's both, and it's not. Neither I believe will happen until this war is won and Russia is driven out and driven back to 1991 borders, including the Crimean Peninsula. But that is only the first step. The second step is the Western partners must take real courage and decide that they are going to secure that. And the key to securing Ukraine's future after the victory that you and I pray every day to see is securing Ukraine's future by giving them membership of both NATO and the EU. Remember, Putin hates NATO. He says it's a Cold War relic, right? Putin and other far-right leaders are not very keen on the EU either, because it's the world's most powerful trading bloc. It can't be bullied. And despots and dictators and people like Vladimir Putin are bullies. A rules-based order says you can't be a bully. You can't march into somebody else's country and take it. Might does not make right.
But as a result, NATO became bigger, plus Finland and plus Sweden.
Exactly. And Finland is. I don't think Sweden are a nation to be taken lightly militarily. But my God, the Finns, tiny little country, the same size as Ireland, and they can mobilize 300,000 troops in 24 hours. They have more artillery pieces than France and Germany combined. What happened when Finland got membership to NATO? Russia pulled its forces away from the Russia-Finland border, giving complete lie to the Russian lie that one of the reasons that caused the further invasion in 2022 was NATO. Ukraine's not a member of NATO. Had Ukraine been a member of NATO, I think it's probably highly unlikely that Ukraine would have been invaded in 2014 and then with the further invasion in 2022. So, I've said all that, but, back just to reiterate, and this can't be said often enough, I'm talking about when Ukraine wins. This is in the balance at the moment. Because I'll repeat what I said at the start of the interview. We're giving Ukraine, and yes, we've given Ukraine billions, but we've given Ukraine enough to keep her in the fight. We have not given Ukraine enough to deliver the knockout blow. We expected, the West and NATO expected Ukraine to prosecute a counteroffensive that no NATO country would have done, a counteroffensive without air superiority. That has been Western and NATO absolute rule since the end of the Second World War. And these Western partners, there seems to be a issue of some people seem to be afraid of defeating Russia.
Okay, Mr. Cormack, thank you so much for being with us.